There's a road I still return to in my dreaming, gravel white beneath the summer afternoon. The kind of road that has no use for hurry, leads you to the porch beneath the moon. My father drove that road in an old Ford pickup, with the window down and the radio low, and the fields on either side were his religion, the green and gold of everything he'd sold. He never talked much, but the road would talk for him. The way he held the wheel with the easy hand, the way he nodded at the neighbors passing, the quiet code of the rural man. I learned the language of the unhurried morning from the road that wound behind the Miller's Creek, from the mile markers that meant we were almost at the place where the world couldn't speak. Its complications in above air whisper, where the only urgent thing was the supper bell. And the road that raised me into knowing that the simple life is where the good things dwell. The road that raised me runs through everything I am today. The road that raised me never really let me walk away. I've been to the city and the far and the foreign, but the gravel always called me back again. The road that raised me is the road I'll walk at the end. Gravel white and summer gold, the road that raised me never gets old. My mother walked that road on Sunday mornings, with a church dress and the Bible in her hand, and she'd wave at every house along the passing, like the waving was the whole of the command. To love your neighbor, not in the theoretical, but in the actual stopping and the how do you do. In the bringing of the casserole in trouble, in the sitting on the porch when grief came through. And the road connected every front porch to the other, was the artery of the whole community's heart, where the news and the condolences both travel, where the living and the dying wasn't kept apart. From the ordinary and the communal witness, where you weren't born and buried with a stranger, where the road that raised you also laid you, and that community was safety, not a danger. I wanna drive that road one final summer, with the window down and the radio low, to count the fields and count the neighbors' mailboxes, to let the gravel have the speed and go at its own pace, the only pace that matters, the pace of the unhurried in the hole. The road that raised me for a reason, and the reason lives inside my bones and soul. The road that raised me, I am grateful for every gravel mile. The road that raised me gave me the man behind this style. Of the quiet and the steady and the certain, of the knowing where the home is and the way. The road that raised me is the road I'll always say. Made me every mile. The road that raised me made me worth the while. What remains when the fire has finished is the shape of what was burning made in gray. The outline of the log still holds its posture, but the substance of it all has gone away. And I have known that particular remaining after the love that burned so long and bright, the shape of the life we built together standing in the ash of the extinguished overnight. Not by the argument or the dramatic, but by the slow withdrawal of the flame. The fire that goes out not in the explosion, but in the quiet, ordinary way. The beautiful remainder of the bride, ember and ash, what's left when love runs out of light. I am standing in the cooling of the after, touching the gray shape of what we were. Ember and ash, the most honest metaphor for the love that burned completely and left nothing but the beautiful gray. Ember and ash is all I have today. I do not blame the fire for the burning. Fire was always what a fire does. It burns the brightest and it burns completely, and then it rests in what the burning was. And I was the one who brought the wood to kindle, who fed the thing beyond its appetite, who thought that more burning meant more lasting, when the lasting never needed more of light. It needed the tending and the careful, the measured and the gentle and the slow. And instead I gave it everything at once, and watched the everything consume the glow. Sit with me inside the ash a moment, before the wind takes even this away. Let me name the things I see in the remaining, the shape of every beautiful bygone day, the outline of the table where we gather, the silhouette of laughter in the gray, the ember that still holds the faintest warmth, ember and ash, but warmth today. Ember and ash, and still I'm grateful for the fire. Ember and ash, for every moment of the higher, and the warmer and the bright and the together, before the together cool to this. Ember and ash still hold the memory of bliss. Ember, ember, still faintly warm. Ember and ash after the storm. He planted the oak tree the year of my father's birth, 30 years before I'd come to stand beneath. He didn't plant it for himself entirely, he planted it for everyone beneath, who would come behind him in the decades rolling, who would need the shade he wouldn't live to see. He was planning for the great-grandchildren's summer, with the faith of the long-seeing and the free, from the tyranny of the immediate and urgent, from the now return of the short horizon man. He was planning for the century, not the season, with the patient and the generational plan. What my grandfather planted, I am resting in today. What my grandfather planted is still giving in the most complete of ways. The shade and the beauty and the What my grandfather planted keeps me out of the storm. And now I'm at the age where the planting matters, where the question of the legacy begins. What am I putting in the ground for the coming, for the children of my children and their kin? Am I planting for the season of the prophet, or am I planting for the century ahead? Am I building for the ones I'll never meet, or building only for myself instead? My grandfather had no philosophy of legacy. He simply planted what the land required, and the planting was the love made permanent, the love that time and seasons have admired. The oak is 60 years old now and enormous. My children play beneath it this afternoon, and sometimes I walk out and put my hand against it and feel the conversation in the room between my grandfather's hand and mine across the decades, between the planting and the standing in the shade. And I think this is the finest kind of legacy, the unannounced and quietly homemade. What my grandfather planted, I will plant for those behind me too. What my grandfather planted taught me what the good and long work can do, for the ones you'll never hold or ever know, for the great-grandchildren in the afternoon. What my grandfather planted is the lesson I'll pass through. Plant for the century, plant for the shade, plant for the ones not yet made. My father drew the maps of far-off places, the lines and the contours and the names. Every mountain and every river system, every coastline carefully claimed into the permanence of the documented, the known made into the official and the true. And I grew up believing all things mappable, that every territory had its view from above and from the certain and am the measure, that the world was understandable if charted well. And then I reached the terrain of the human heart and found it had no contours I could tell. I am the cartographer's son, who found the one land that refuses the line. The cartographer's son, trying to map a heart, yours and mine. The one territory without a legend, where the north changes depending on the day. I am the cartographer's son, learning to navigate without the way, without the chart, without the known. The cartographer's son, learning to love the unmapped home. I brought my instruments to every relationship, my measurements and methods and my skill. I thought if I could chart the other person, I could navigate the love with the map's will. But the other person moved with every season, shifted like the delta and the sand. And my careful measurements were obsolete before the ink had dried beneath my hand. And my father laughed when I described my problem. The old cartographer with the knowing eyes. He said, son, some territories are the living kind, and the living kind refuses to be precise. He told me, put the instruments away, just walk into the unmapped and the feeling. Just let the territory teach you as you go. Just trust the feet above the mapped revealing. And I tried, and the trying was the terror of the man who only trusted the exact. But the unmapped had a beauty past the charted, and I've never been the same since I went back into the living and the shifting and the real, where the map was always less than what is there. I am the cartographer's son, who finally put the instruments aside. The cartographer's son, who learned that love is better without guide than with the false precision of the charted. The life that fits no legend and no line. I am the cartographer's son, and the unmapped territory is mine. Beautiful and unknown. The cartographer's son has found his home. There is a river past the edge of town that moves so slow, you'd think it had forgotten that rivers have a destination and a purpose, that they're going somewhere is the water's token. But the slow river has its own philosophy, its own theology of the unhurried and the wide. It moves through every season at its own pace, with the banks and the willows alongside. And I have sat beside it since my boyhood, in every version of the troubled and the good. And the slow river never once gave advice, but understood, it always understood. Slow river, moving at the pace the earth allows. Slow river, the patient and the unperturbed, and how it holds the sky and the fish and the fallen leaf, without the preference or the judgment or the loss. Slow river is the finest teacher I have crossed. Move like the slow river, wide and deep and knowing. Move like the slow river, no hurry in the going. Slow river, I brought my father's ashes to the slow river in the October of the year he left the room. I stood at the bank in the early morning quietly, and let the water have him in the blue-gray gloom. And the river took him with the same unhurried patience that it takes the autumn leaf and the winter rain, without the ceremony or the commentary, just the slow receiving and the moving on again. And something in the simplicity was perfect, something in the river's way was right. The slow river receives all things completely, with the same grace, whether grief or delight. I want to move through my remaining years with something of the slow river in my stride, the wide and the unhurried and the carrying of whatever the current brings alongside. Not the urgent and the managed and the charted, but the flowing and the open and the slow, the patient in the moving through the seasons, the river's way of the letting go, and the holding both at once, like the slow river always does. time arrives. Slow river, as you've carried all the other lives, with the same unhurried and the same wide mercy, the same receiving of the everyone. Slow river, be the last thing in my sun, moving slow, slow river, the way home. He was a man of few words, but every word was useful. He didn't speak unless the silence needed breaking, and the silence only needed breaking rarely. In a man like him who'd done so much of making with his hands what other men put into talking, who'd built the barn and raised the fence and stayed through every season that would test the staying, through the drought year and the flood year and the freight. He'd never seen a problem solved by speeches. He'd never seen a worry talked to dust. He believed in the doing and the showing, and he did it with the quiet of the just. A man of few words, but every word was true. A man of few words who showed up in everything he'd do. Not the announcing and the claiming and the credit, but the actual and the present and the done. A man of few words was the loudest kind of anyone, in the doing and the staying and the building. A man of few words said everything. I asked him once what he believed about the living, what philosophy he carried in his chest. He looked at me the way he looked at weather, like the question needed time before the rest. And then he said the simple things are harder than the complicated people want to know. That kindness and the showing up and working are the three things that a man needs here below. And that was all. He handed me a hammer, and we worked the understood completely, more than any lecture I had heard. At his funeral, the preacher talked for 40 minutes, saying everything my father never said. And the people in the pew smiled at the effort to put to words the life inside the shed. Inside the field, inside the daily doing, inside the hands that held the world in praise. And no amount of words could hold the fullness of the simple and the dignified and grace of a man of few words. A man of few words, I am trying to become the same. A man of few words whose life is louder than his name. Who does the thing and stays the thing and loves without the documenting or the told. A man of few words is the finest kind of old, the kind of man who says it all. With nothing said at all. When the creek runs low in the August heat, the cattle know before the farmer does. They press against the fence toward the water, and their lowing has the sound of the because of the dry year and the mercy not yet given, of the sky that holds the rain behind its blue. And the farmer reads the creek like a physician, reads the patient for the telling signs of through. He walks the bank at morning counting inches, where the summer water line has left its mark. And the distance from the high mark to the current is the measure of how worried is his heart. When the creek runs low, you learn what you are made of in the dry. When the creek runs low, you find the water source or you find why. You came to this particular piece of country, whether you had what it takes to stay the heart. When the creek runs low is when the farmer shows his card, his faith and his mettle and his staying. When the creek runs low, he keeps praying. My grandfather prayed for rain out loud at dinner, without the embarrassment or the explain. He simply bowed his head and asked the Maker for the mercy of the creek replenishing rain. And sometimes it would come within the week, and sometimes it would hold until October. And he would think the same regardless of the timing, as if the waiting was itself a sober reminder of the gift of the receiving, that nothing that we have is permanent, that the creek runs high and low in its own season, and the farmer lives inside that covenant. I think about the creek runs low of living, the seasons when the source of things goes dry, when the energy and the purpose and the loving run below the level you'd rely, and the walking of the bank and the counting, and the praying and the staying and the trust, that the creek is always come back to the flowing, is the faith the dry season makes of us. When the creek runs low, I walk the bank and count the marks and pray. When the creek runs low, I trust the water knows its way. Back to the full and back to the sufficient, back to the cattle drinking in the shade. When the creek runs low is where my faith is made. Runs low, runs dry, runs back. When the creek runs low, I don't look back. I have been known to linger at the doorway to find the one last thing that needs a said, to pour the final cup and sit a moment before the goodbye and the road ahead. And tonight I'm sitting in the last light of the house that held me longer than it should, playing the last song before the leaving, the way the last song's always understood, the weight of what is ending and not ending, the way the leaving always leaves a part. The last song before leaving is the truest, because it comes directly from the heart, without the editing or the second guessing, because there is no longer time for that. Just the song and the leaving and the knowing that the leaving is the place where I am at. The last song before leaving is the one I've saved for all of this. The last song before leaving is the love I'm giving the kitchen in the morning, to the window and the view and the known. The last song before leaving is the finest song I've ever grown. From the root of the life that I'm leaving behind, the last song before leaving is the leaving, finding home. I played it for my children in their doorways, when I checked them in the dark of their sleep. A song too quiet for the waking, but for keeping. A frequency for what the parents keep inside the chest, in the hours of the watching, when the house is still and only you're awake. And the love you feel for the ones inside the sleeping is too large for any word or song to take. But the last song before leaving tries regardless, puts the too large into the inadequate, and the inadequate is still the reaching, and the reaching is the finest of the attempt. Sing me a last song before the leaving. Someone once requested other room, and I played the oldest thing I knew completely. Something learned before the words came through, a melody that belonged to no composer, that came from the country and the common blood. The last song before leaving is the oldest, the one that came before the understood. The last song before leaving, I am playing it right now for you. The last song before leaving is the most completely true, honest, golden, free, one last singing, one last note inside the leaving air. The last song before leaving is my love and my prayer. Play it slow, let it go. The last song before I go. There are fields I passed in the driving of my living that I always meant to stop and work someday. The side road and the creek and the possibility that I kept on keeping for another day. The book I kept on meaning to be writing, the music that I kept inside the head, the language that I meant to learn in earnest, things I kept alive inside the not yet said. And the years have had a way of the not someday, of the turning of the seasons without stop. And the fields I never farmed are still there waiting, but the window of the farming's near the top. Fields I never farmed, beautiful unlived and the unsown. Fields I never farmed, the life adjacent to the life I've known. I hold them without bitterness completely. They were never mine to farm in the design. Fields I never farmed are just the boundaries of this life of mine. Every life has fields it never farmed, the ones beside the road, the beautiful adjacent fields I never farmed. But I wanna say to every younger traveler who passes fields they mean to stop and work, stop this time, don't save it for the someday. Don't let the someday do its patient work of seeming permanent and always available, until the morning when it simply isn't there. The field is real today and today only. The someday is the promise of the air, intangible and kind and well-intentioned, but the actual farm requires the actual stop, the actual putting down of all the driving and the picking up of the soil and the crop. I have farmed enough to fill a grateful lifetime, and I rest inside the farm with thee at peace. But the fields I never farmed taught me the lesson that I'd pass along before the driving cease. Stop, get out, walk the boundary, decide if this is yours to work right now. And if it is, begin today, not someday. Someday always asks you to endure tomorrow with the work that needs today. Fields I never farm, I leave them for the ones who come behind. Fields I never farm, or someone else is calling and they're fine. I farmed my own and farmed it with the fullness of the life I was given and the time. Fields I never farmed were never truly mine, and that is fine, and that is whole. The fields I farmed fed my soul. There's a light on in the window, been on every night since you left town. Mama won't say nothing about the leaving, but She won't turn that porch light down. I heard you left the town and left the county, took the highway south without a word, and everybody's talking in the careful, the way they talk when something's wrong and hurt. I'm not asking for the whole of the explaining, not asking for the reasons laid in full, just asking for the knowing that you're living, just asking for a call or a pull back into the orbit of the family. Who misses you in every empty chair, at the table and the Sunday and the season? Brother, come home, the porch light's always on. Brother, come home, I don't need the story if it's hard to tell. Brother, come home, I don't need the reason that you fell into whatever road you're traveling now. I just need to know you're breathing. Brother, come home, the door is open and we're needing your particular face at the table again. Brother, come home, I'm your brother and your friend. I know we said the things that are the hardest, the kind that ring for years inside the ear, and I've turned them over in the long nights, sitting on the porch from dark to clear. And I know my part in the unraveling. I know the words I said that drew the blood, and I'm standing here without the pride between us, standing in the plain and the should. Have called you sooner and I should have driven, should have shown up on your doorstep years ago. Brother, I was wrong and I am saying it, something I was too proud to let you know. Brother, come home, not asking you to forget the things we said. Brother, come home, just asking that we carry them instead of leaving them between us like a border that keeps two brothers on the separate side. Brother, come home, I'd rather have the truth than the pride. Come to the table, come to the knowing. Brother, come home, the light is always showing. Daddy asked about you on a Wednesday. week before the winter took him slow, he said, tell your brother that I loved him equally. Tell him that I wanted him to know. And I held that message for too many seasons, kept it